On this day in history, July 13th, 1919, the British airship R-34 lands in Norfolk, England, completing the first airship return journey across the Atlantic in 182 hours of flight. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, going over the history of airship development in Great Britain, and featuring narration from my friend, Mike.
Prior to the World War, 1914 to 1918, the British made little, if any, contribution to airship development. A few private experimenters aroused enough interest so that in 1907, the government built a series of 5 small airships from 21,000 to 77,500 cubic feet in volume. 2 French airships were purchased in 1909, and then, apparently alarmed by German progress, the government appropriated $400,000 and started to build an 800,000 cubic foot airship, later dubbed the Mayfly. This ship never did fly, for on September 24, 1911, while being maneuvered from her shed at Barrow, a violent crosswind broke her in two. This called a temporary halt at attempts at rigid airship construction, but a Percival and Astra were bought and proved useful in the service early in the war, 1914 to 1918. During this war period, about 7 non-rigid types were evolved for coast patrol duty and to combat submarines and mines. Best known were the Sea Scout type of 65,000 cubic foot, which came to be called blimps, and the North Sea type of 360,000 cubic feet. Speeds as high as 57.5 miles an hour were attained, and the NS-11 made one flight of a 101-hour duration. From June 1917 to October of 1918, there were 56 airships on duty and 59,704 hours of patrol flights that were performed, on which 49 submarines were sighted. In 1918, there were only 9 days on which the airships were not out on patrol duty. Non-rigid activity ceased shortly after the War of 1914 to 1918, but one commercial blimp was built for advertising purposes. After many delays, the rigid airship R-9, which had been started in 1914, was finally completed in 1917. Other rigids ordered in 1915 were of the R-23 class, but none of these airships equaled the products of the experienced Zeppelin designers. However, when the German L-33 was brought down in good condition, she served as a model for the R-33 and the R-34, which were marked in their improvement. In fact, the R-34 had a range enough to make the first transatlantic airship flight, successfully completing a trip to Long Island, New York in 1919 and returning. In August 1918, work was started on the R-38, an airship with a volume of 2,700,000 cubic feet, which was sold by the British to the American government. Delivery by air was planned, but after 3 test flights on which structural and control weaknesses appeared, the airship made a 4th flight, August 24, 1921, on which she broke in 2 in the air, killing 45 British and American officers and men. The R-38 disaster brought British airship activity to a halt. This time until 1924, when an Empire communications scheme was undertaken and 2 5 million cubic foot airships were ordered and built. The R-100 to be built by the Airship Guarantee Company, and the R-101 by the Air Ministry. A large shed was erected at Karachi, India, and mooring masts were set up in Nishmala, Egypt, and Montreal, Canada. Both airships were to have accommodations inside their hulls for 100 passengers. The R-100 was built on a rather modified Zeppelin type of design, using gasoline engines, and was reported to have cost $2.25 million. In July 1930, she made a trip to Montreal in 79 hours, returning in August in 57 hours. The R-101 deviated substantially from German designs and practice, using steel girders and diesel engines. On an attempted flight, October 5, 1930, to India, she crashed in a storm at Bouquet, France, and burst into flames, killing 47 persons, including Lord Thomson, Air Minister. The government then scrapped the R-100 and abandoned its airship program indefinitely.